Hello, hello. Welcome to the Green Nurse Monthly Clinical Conversations, where we bring hope and inspiration for growth and healing. We're here to change the dialogue and stigma around what it means to feel good and be high. Hence the H for hope, I for inspiration, G for growth, and H for healing. It is okay to feel good. Everyone deserves to feel good, and so do you. So March is Energized Living Month, and today we have a special cannabis nursing leader here to demonstrate how she is using cannabinoids in lifestyle as medicine with her program, The Elevated Way. But before we get started, here is a little video about what we do in the cannabis arena as nurses, and then we'll get right back to the program.
Change the paradigm of healthcare.
The Green Nurse is a holistic cannabis nurse that teaches on the endocannabinoid system and the safe utilization of cannabis and other progressive tools to help people reach a better quality of life.
I'm the founder of Holistic Caring. We're based here in California, and we do educational programs and case management for patients on how to use cannabis therapeutically as a medicine.
We're also here to decrease stigma around what it means to feel good and be high, hence the H for hope, I for inspiration, G for growth, and H for healing.
As the founder of Holistic Caring, I basically oversee the whole ship. And what we're doing is progressive education.
Cannabis actually supports all 11 organ systems, our immune system, and all the neurotransmitter signaling systems that give messages to tell our body to either do something or not do something. Because the plant was prohibited, it prevented health professionals, doctors and nurses from learning about cannabis as medicine.
I want to change the paradigm of healthcare and us paving the way into a new vanguard of medicine.
It's about education, it's about empowerment, it's about teaching people how to feel good, bridging the gap from what they're not getting from traditional medicine, utilizing different plant medicines, adaptogens, tips, tricks, hugs, and nugs of information to support and nourish the most important system in our body.
And it's a lot of soul work, a lot of love, a lot of discipline, and meditation. I'm using my life work as a testimony to others to learn how they can be their own hero and then go help heal the world.
And we are, as nurses, the game changers.
Hoo-ha! We as nurses are the game changers.
Game changers, yeah.
Thank you, Nurse Denise, for being a game changer with us. So excited. So the Green Nurse podcast, Clinical Conversations Webcast came about when Nurse Elizabeth and I merged our companies, Holistic Caring and the Green Nurse, alongside Bloom Hemp, creating Holistic Caring Network. And Clinical Conversations explores all aspects of how to optimize cannabis and CBD as medicine. People are making great medicines. This is her quote. People are selling these amazing formulations, yet no one is truly interpreting how to use cannabis as medicine. And that is what we do in the space. So before we get started on our presentation, we have a special message from our sponsor. And I'm going to pull up the handy dandy little slide from Bloom Hemp. We want to give a big thank you to Bloom Hemp. Elizabeth, tell us about Bloom.
So yeah, Bloom Hemp CBD is a woman and nurse-owned national hemp supplier leading with quality, safety, value, and patient-centered care. Bloom Hemp products are triple tested and USDA organic hemp CBD grown in the mountains of Colorado, made sure that it has purity, potency, and the cannabinoid and terpene profiles that you need. Bloom Hemp is also proud to offer a nurse line, one of the first CBD companies to do so. And so if you call 970-404-HOPE. You can get your questions answered about CBD and how it might work in the body and help you. And then you can also go to the intake form and get a free care plan using the Bloom Hemp formulations. So call today, and don't forget, Green Nurse saves you 10% at checkout and also gives you free shipping.
There you go. Thank you, Bloom Hemp. You are helping everyone bloom into health for sure. So in celebration of Spring Forward and women's health, we're celebrating and exploring Denise's Energized Living program called The Elevated Way. You guys are in for a surprise. and a treat today for sure. So Denise is going to share insights on leveraging cannabinoids and lifestyle methods as therapeutic tools within her practice. As an esteemed former Air Force veteran flight nurse, holistic healer, and cannabis expert, Denise Costello's mission is to empower individuals in their quest for health and well-being. With a wealth of knowledge garnered through personal experience and professional expertise, Denise founded The Elevated Way. This lifestyle medicine method seeks to revolutionize the way we view aging, healing, and living by utilizing science-backed practices that support a natural approach to health. Denise will be presenting today and sharing case studies with clients that she's helped through her program. Welcome, Denise. Thank you so much for helping us change the paradigm of health. So glad to have you back. Literally.
Yes, it's so good to be back. And it's exciting doing this work, even though, sometimes it can feel daunting, but, it's all coming together bit by bit. And I love seeing the work that you're doing and love your fabulous products. And I'm excited. I think people are starting to wake up. They're starting to get this, and they're realizing that they don't need to be overwhelmed anymore. There is a different way, an elevated way to manage their lifestyle and their health. And it can be so much more fun, right? I don't know about you. I'd rather be walking outside getting my vitamin D than trying to choke down a pill.
True. Absolutely.
There's so many other things that we can do, for that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Really excited to have you present. We're going to be in the peanut gallery. So you just let us know when you can just.
Okay. All right.
Live.
Yes. Yeah, we can go to the next slide. That would be awesome. Yeah. So, this really, the elevated way is what this is really about is just simplicity, that we really have all that we need. We were given everything provided for us. And it's just a matter of just like kind of being aware and using these tools or these different practices throughout our everyday. We have our own knowing. Sometimes we can just be in our heads too much, and part of this work is going in so we understand our knowing and that gut, right? And I remember, here I was a nurse in my senior year of nursing school and trying to figure out where I was going to go. And I had never thought about the Air Force, and they were coming and giving a nice luncheon, and we're like, yeah, let's go for the free lunch. And this was in the 80s when it wasn't cool to be in the military, especially if you're from upper middle class, you're a nursing student, you've got a BSN, you got everything. Like, you don't need to go into the military, right? Well, the officer was presenting that they were opening up obstetric units. I wanted to get into women's health at the time. And they were like, oh, you can go in as an officer. I was like, what about boot camp? They're like, don't have to worry about boot camp. And I was thinking, like, why not? This was that knowing. My parents were out of town on a vacation. I had nobody to really talk about this. All of my, this was an all-girls Catholic college in Cincinnati, Ohio. Everybody thought I was nuts, but I had to jump on the application quickly because this board was meeting, for this special program. So I'm telling you this story because I went with what was in my gut, what I knew, like in my heart, that made sense to me, not what the world was telling me. And sometimes we have to step into that knowing to take action, because the medical system and what we are faced with is very different than what we know, how we were created to live, and be happy on this earth. So long story short, I went in with the resistance of my friends, my family, and everybody. And it was the most amazing experience. Met my husband, and it got me into, believe it or not, preventative medicine. I was a health promotion officer as well. And that opened up the door to me to look at health differently. I wanted to be on the other side of medicine to help people stay out of the hospital And knowing at that point, this was in the 80s when they were making the connection with lifestyle medicine in the area of cardiovascular disease and diabetes. I'm like, that's where I want to be. So the point is, we listen, but we got to get quiet so we can listen, right? And then we have Mother Earth providing us this beautiful plant, and we have our connection to God and Spirit there to support us. So we have everything, right? And from that, I went down the path of educating, all through my life in how we can bring these foundational pillars that are the foundation of energized living. This was my first area of focus, how we bring in prayer and meditation and grounding, how we protect our body and what we think and eat and move. And I'm going to go into these a little bit more detail. And then how we bring in play. Sherry alluded to at the beginning, like, this doesn't have to be hard. We can have joy in life. It's okay to feel good. And I think that is really a big component of some people bump up, about cannabis or whatever, like, oh, you're just high. What's wrong with feeling good? When we feel good and joyful and we're out of pain and we attract good things in our life, right? So we can kind of go to the next. So as I said, going in before we go out, I think this to me is so critical. Starting your day in prayer, connection, meditation, whatever you call it. I look at prayer as a communication. It's a connection to spirit or God, or to your higher self, or to your spirit guides, or just the energy of the world around you. And to take those precious moments in the morning and the day, those are your only time that you have to really step into your divine, being, your consciousness, and if we aren't tapping into that, the rest of the world is just going to grab us, So instead of grabbing your phone, I want you to grab your heart. Grab your heart first.
And you taught me a beautiful mudra. You taught me a beautiful mudra. I learned energized living from you, and it was amazing. Peace begins with me. Right?
Exactly. It's so simple, right? Peace begins with me. And we end in this mudra, which is a hand sign of knowledge and grounding. So your day, I promise you, if you grab your heart first thing, have a little breath, gratitude, conversation with yourself or God, you start your day that way, I promise you, it'll be so different than grabbing that phone and feeling protection, how we protect ourselves. So, my first avenue when I was a young mother, so I went from starting a breast care center in Boston. So I was in the cancer world, and, I saw the devastation of that. And here I was, a new mother of twins, and we're in my kitchen, and I hear on NPR this study talking about by the time my children would be 18, 1 in 6 would have cancer. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm telling you, there's these moments, these pivotal moments in your life where it just impacts you. At that moment, I knew the best way I could protect my family, and my husband's cholesterol was starting to go up, and he was a runner, so something was going on. The best way I could protect my family was how I was going to feed them initially. Food is medicine. That's the basis. So I started going down the path of studying integrative medicine, Andrew Weil and Dr. Hyman and all of these doctors. And I would get mothers together in my kitchen, prepare food, show them how to make it. I had to make my own. This is back in the day. You had to make your own almond milk. I mean, it was hard. Everybody, it's so much easier now. But I would bring in community, and that's it too, supporting each other. The other area of protection, is calming, calming your body. Sherry is here relaxing. She introduced me, she was my mentor in learning how to use cannabis. I had a hip replacement. and wanted to use this for pain management. Opened up a whole different world for me. I had a whole different perspective of this and how we move. We don't have to do hard, difficult, exercises. We can move our bodies through dance, through yoga. And I'm going to show you a new trick pretty soon here about a good strength training mode too. So when we get into play, that last one, play, naturally everybody say, oh yeah, play. Yeah, we want to be joyful. Well, I look at play as an act of surrender. When we go out and play, we're just like, hey, whatever happens, right? We're not saying, I'm going to make sure I'm doing this and that so I have a good time, right? It's asking that question, what else is possible? And I will, say to you, there had been some instances in my life that opened up like huge things for me where I asked that question. I was not rigid on the outcome. And here is my example of that. I was in Desert Storm and I flew on a C-130 and our mission was to follow like the Marine divisions as they infiltrated, and we were the first echelon of care. So we would basically kind of patch everybody up and then fly them to a MASH unit. Okay. So I was the nurse on charge of the mission. And I was just so scared because we were moving Iraqi prisoners, actually. Plane is stacked. We land and you're just like, phew, oh goodness, you're out of my responsibility. But when I landed, and I was scared, this was like something I had never done this before. And I was just like so relieved. And I just kind of got into more of a open, playful mode. I'm like, hey, I wonder who I know here. Who could I maybe know? You never know. And my best friend in the Air Force, who was, I knew she was a flight nurse in Germany, but I didn't know where she was. This is before cell phones, didn't know. So I thought, oh my gosh, I'm just going to ask, what do I have to lose? Wouldn't it be wild if she was here? And that's what I did. I asked the controller, I said, hey, does anybody know a Captain Link? And they're like, oh yeah, she just left. She just walked out of this tent and she's out. I'm like, oh my gosh, I never in my wildest dreams, would ever expect that to happen. So this act of asking what else is possible, just releasing your control and just being open to other things can really bring you a lot of good gifts. Yeah. So the elevated way, I brought this in because I wanted people to realize that we can all live a joyful life. We can all elevate our experience in everything that we do during the day. I mean, just like that, the way we're waking up in the morning, how simple was that? That immediately lifts your energy and your attitude. So what the elevated way is about bringing together these holistic, spiritual based lifestyle medicine tools. Because this is my belief is our lifestyle is our medicine, right? How we engage in life is our medicine. And this can seamlessly just roll into your day and just make you feel amazing. So that's what I love to work with people and show them how we do this. Yeah. And one of the big reasons I'm doing this is because of stress. That is the undercurrent that is affecting everyone. And especially, I'm so happy that I'm here. Your focus is on, springing forward in women, because women, especially we get over 40, we can't handle stress. Our cortisol levels are higher. Our bodies react to it at a much higher rate. And we know that 75 to 90% of all of our illnesses are stress related. And we're going to be, stress is going to be part of our life, but there's ways that, we can kind of outsmart it. And these telomeres are showing us, and I just heard this from Dr. Gabor Mate, who was a amazing physician. He was talking about a study where they looked at caregivers' telomeres. So these telomeres are the caps. If you think of, remember when you were a kid and you had your shoestrings, they had the little plastic caps on the end. The telomeres are like the caps at the bottom of our DNA strands. And as we age, they start to fray. Well, the telomeres on these women that were caregivers for a family member, that was ill, like a chronic illness, their telomeres were like frayed in like 10 years loss in age. So they were aging 10 years. So it doesn't mean that they're not going to care for them, but there's a different way that they can care for them, and take care of themselves. And as we know, we have a very different world. We are bombarded, by all kinds of stress and just trying to manage our families, our work, and we've got to take care of ourselves, right? That's what we're going to tap on here. So how do we do that? How do we outsmart the stress? Well, like we just talked about earlier, grounding, meditation, and prayer, starting your day that way is so incredibly powerful. And it doesn't have to be, kneeling on the floor, for hours or something, just that simple act of just pausing. So taking a pause, in the morning or during your day. Daily movement is critical. Our bodies were made to move. That's all there is to it. We were made to move. And sleep, getting our sleep. We've heard this over and over again. This is when the repair work is being done. This is when everything that was happening during the day, we need to power down so our body can repair itself. Anti-inflammatory foods. So stress causes inflammation. What we eat can cause inflammation. How we move can cause inflammation. Our toxic environment can cause inflammation. And if we are inflamed, that's our body just fighting against all of that. So that's causes a lot of illnesses as well. And using, so we want to combat that with the anti-inflammatory foods, And that can be so delicious. And I love to cook and prepare. And that is I get so excited when I have what I call a trifecta recipe, which means something that's nutrient dense, easy to prepare, and so good, you'll serve it to guests, right? Mm-hmm. So plant medicine is the other beautiful way that we can outsmart stress, plant medicine, maybe instead of alcohol. Alcohol is so damaging to our system. We know that. It pokes holes in our gut, we don't want that, right? And that causes inflammation. So using some plant medicine for our, relaxation or elevation is so much more healing, for our body. And in combination with meditation or yoga, or even match, my experience at church, I'm a Catholic, is so much greater since I've been meditating. And even the plant medicine helps me to go deeper into meditation, which is good. And then lastly, connection, like we're doing right here, connection with other fellow beings and each other. And COVID showed us how important that was, right? Mm-hmm. So one of the things that has been difficult, with people, we know that strength training is so critical for our bone density, for our metabolism, for increasing that human growth hormone, which is very good for, helping with our skin and our metabolism, etc. I recently got introduced to this certain type of weight training called blood flow restriction. And the 10-minute radiance burn encapsulates this new strength training way. It helps to manage your weight and increase your energy levels and balances your hormones. I'll tell you a little bit more about that. So what is in this, these 10 minutes, and I offer my 10-minute radiance burn every Wednesday at noon. You can attend that if you would like. And we go through a session together. And in that session, I bring in a grounding meditation and flow, because we want to pause. We need to take a break from all of this, right? And there's a spinal flow. Our spine is so critical in keeping that nimble. So we do a spinal 6 range of motion spinal flow. And what's elevating that is while we're doing the flow, we're just not doing the exercises. We're doing it with intention. We start with an intention before we begin. We bring in the language while we're doing the movements, incorporate connection and prayer. Okay. There's a sonomic dance movement. Okay. I'm a journey dance facilitator. Dance and movement is so powerful at getting out of our mind. We have been disengaged from our bodies. It brings us back into embodiment and being able to feel and understand and connect with our body. So we do a little dance for a warm up. And I also incorporate and educate people on CBD and THCV. I'm going to get into that a little bit more detail, but these are cannabinoids. Our endocannabinoid system, as you were mentioning earlier, communicates with everything. We want that primed. We want that active and happy, through our day. And then protein-rich anti-inflammatory foods. So I give recipes. This all comes, with this program. So now the blood flow restriction, you may not have heard about it, but it's been around for about 40 years. And this was developed in Japan. Basically, it was used during recovery. Because think about this, if you injure yourself, you need to build up your muscles. That was one thing I was just blown away with when I had my hip replacement and then my knee replacement. How fast my muscles just whittled down to nothing because I wasn't able to move them. So with this type of exercise component, using these bands, looks kind of like a little mini blood pressure cuff. And you can see I have them on.
Hold it up again. Hold it up again so people can see.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yep. And so you just slide them on. I'll just show you real quick how this works. We just slide them on. And you know what I love about this? I do a lot of bip bopping around, traveling and stuff. I can just throw these in my suitcase and I've got my gym right along with me wherever I am. And I can do it on the beach. I can do it outside. I don't have to be stuck in those old hotel gyms that are about like this big, right? And so what you're doing is you're going to infuse a little bit of air in here, and that puts pressure here. Not real great, just a little bit. And it's restricting the blood flow, just like how you turn down a hose. It's just slowly restricting it, not obliterating. This is very safe and highly tested, over 40 years, but it reduces the oxygen to the muscle. So here's the biohack with this and why it's so exciting.
Biohack. Love it.
Biohack. We like that, right? So the biohack is that oxygen is restricted and the brain is saying, oh my gosh, and I'm just using a 3-pound weight or nothing at all, right? I'm just going like this, but the oxygen isn't going there. So the body is thinking, oh, we've got lactic acid. I need to shoot that human growth hormone in. And human growth hormone only drops into your system when you're at that critical burn part, when it feels the lactic acid. So it's not just taking a light walk, but it's just getting to that what we call the burn component. Yeah, the burn. And you only need to be in the burn like 4 to 6 minutes. That's it to get that dump, right? So through the exercises, you feel this and boom, I'm telling you, I can't even tell you how quickly my muscles, strengthened. And in the beginning, when my PT, had me do this, I was like, yeah, cool, I'll try this. And I was kind of doing it, not every day, a little bit here and there. And I had I had my percentage of body fat and everything done before I started my physical therapy training. And this was during it was during November and December. I'm not watching what I'm eating. We're holidaying, right? I got on had reevaluated, and I lost 2% body fat and gained 3 pounds of muscle with hardly even doing this very often.
Yeah.
So it really works. And the thing that I'm super excited about it is for our elderly. How many of you have, a loved one, an elder loved one, and they're just like sarcopenia happens after the age of 60s. I'm 62. And so I'm really starting to think about this stuff, right? And I'm seeing it in my elders, they're shriveled away. They can't move. So if you want to be autonomous and not have to depend on people in your older age, and you want to be out there engaged in life, you got to have strength. You've got to be able to move. So this is so beautiful because, these seniors aren't going to hit heavy weights, but this is something that works for them. And, anybody, a child as well, where you don't want to damage the growth plates, they can support themselves if they're in sports. So this is, I think, a revolutionary, it's a new way of exercising, an elevated way, right? Yeah. Yes, exactly. As I was mentioning, I'm like in the human growth hormone. I won't kid you not on that. We know that keeps us looking and feeling young and feeling amazing. And we lose it. We lose it so quickly, 15% every decade of life. And the only way that we can get it is through kind of dangerous injections that are costly and expensive, or if you are just spending an hour or so at the gym, lifting those heavy weights. And I don't know about you, my joints can't handle that anymore. I just can't do it. So I'm excited to share this, especially with women, has kind of been my focus a little bit on this. Yeah.
Is it time for the video? Is it the video to show it quick?
Yeah. Let's put the video on. Sure. So the video is me at my noon, radiance burn session. And I don't know, the quality's a little, we'll see.
Okay. We'll just see what happens.
We'll see what happens.
So as we go down, we push up, down, push up. Okay.
And I'm just showing you. So I have 3-pound weights on there.
So by combining these two,
and so
really nice because you get, part of your legs in. And I want to show you when we're going down to the squat. I don't know if you can see, my butt is kind of out in a sense, and then I tuck it in as I come in. So you get a nice,
I like the dance because they lift your butt up, make your butt look
firm. Putting yourself up.
Oh, shoot, I just lost you.
Yeah,
that's great, Denise. That's great.
Yeah. It's really simple. So there's kind of 2 ways you can use it. You can do, the intense, or the other beautiful thing. How many people have a dog that they walk every day? Right? I have a dog. I walk my dog every day. I will put the bands on, and because the bands are on there while I'm just walking, you can do it when you're doing yoga, play golf, play pickleball, any of these are even, can even help you to have a better game. They've got training, on all that. But what I noticed, just wearing them, doing my normal walk, I have an Aura ring, and it measures my heart rate and how much I'm burning, my metabolism's burning. It went up 20% just by wearing the bands.
Wow.
Easy peasy. So there's a lot of applications for this.
Just imagine if we incorporate CBD and phytobotanical nutrients into this, how we're really packing a punch. I know.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's exactly why I'm so excited. I was like, oh, we've got all these wonderful tools to bring together, and this is totally backed by science. Like I said, they've been doing this for over 40 years in Japan. Many, many real, people that have been through this. Lots of studies going on, and they, measured somebody doing the same exercise, with the same weight, and showing no dump of human growth hormone until they put the bands on, doing the same exact exercise. And then they had much more, they got the human growth hormone. Ooh. And why, this is the other component. I was at a women's event that were a lot of practitioners there, right? A lot of nurse practitioners are taking on women in menopause because they're not being serviced by their OBGYNs. They are not focused. Only 1 in 5, OBGYN is even really well-versed in menopause and what you can do, holistically with that. Nobody knew anything about THCV. I was like, ladies, you got to know about this. Oh, nobody, even the practitioners didn't know about it. I was like, you got to know about this product. It stimulates our metabolism. It curbs your appetite, it stabilizes your blood sugar, all these things that, are difficult when we are in that menopausal phase of our life. And I don't know about you, but I want to give women hope in this area. They haven't gotten a lot of hope in this. And I feel like this is really magical. And
let's talk about what's in it. Ooh.
Yeah, I was going to say, I can talk a little bit more about what's in focus as well. Is the other components that I love in focus is, number one, is loaded with CBD. And CBD is anti-inflammatory. It's going to help with our bone growth. Also, and many other things, digestion, sleep, all of that. But it also has CBG. So CBG is beautiful for gut health, for brain focus, for even pain, if they happen to have some pain. So, as we are working out our muscles, which incidentally, the bands, you don't have the soreness that you do like with other muscles, but you might have a little bit. Having this on board before your workout, you absolutely have no muscle, soreness afterwards. The other thing I love about this is the lion's mane and the reishi and the herbermate, all these brain activating focus, when people are feeling a little foggy, and really nourishing our brain health. We are now looking at our brains a little differently by using different nootropics and things. So I love this product because it's like a one-hit wonder. You've got everything in there. So thank you. Thank you so much for having this one. Mm-hmm.
Talk about your
case study.
Your case study.
Yeah. So, like I mentioned before, I got introduced to cannabis and the beauty of that through my hip surgery and other surgeries, right? And I had a profound experience with both of my surgeries because it was like a transformation. And so basically I've taken my practices of using CBD, and THC and CBD to manage the pain, to do deep meditations and all of these different things in the recovery. And I had this woman, she broke her wrist, and she was somebody, which this is really interesting. Now, her husband was a chiropractor and he's retired. And he'd been a cannabis consumer all his life. And kind of hearing about his story, I think a lot of it had to do with his anxiety, and he had some trauma, and it just helped him with that. She wouldn't touch it. She was like, yeah, I don't feel comfortable with the cannabis. But she came to me and said, I cannot handle, I've had surgery before, and the other medications just ruins my gut. I was so sick. She landed, in the ER once because of what the Advil and everything did to her gut, so she was willing to try. And so we went through, you can maybe go to the next slide. I'll talk a little bit about what we did. I started, and here was the other interesting thing. I meet with people before they have their surgery. I like to get them the month before to get them prepped, right? And to get them on the CBD, get them sleeping better, because they're in pain or they have different things going on. And she was amazed at how good she felt before surgery, just incorporating, the recovery tincture. Loved that one. And the calming tincture helped her to go to sleep at night, and while she was still in pain, and the sleep gummy. So that was kind of an interesting aha thing that came to me, like, oh, the before is so nice to get them really set up, beforehand. So we would do, we started with the recovery because the recovery has a little more of the anti-inflammatory components in it. I know you've got turmeric and other good things like that. And then the calming tincture, at the end of the evening with the sleep gummies helped her to sleep really well. Now, when they're fresh out of the hot, out of surgery, you need a little THC to manage that acute pain. And I used a 1-to-1. I always combine it with CBD, because I wanted to load the anti-inflammatory effects of this during the process and in the calming, and even digestion. Your digestion kind of gets whacked when you're in surgery. So after she did really well, very minimal amount of pain meds. I think on the day of surgery, she had 5 milligrams of, it wasn't even oxy, it was something else. I forget what it was, but really was amazed. And her husband was like, wow, it kind of, what the cannabis, the 1-to-1 did for her, it got her out of her head a little bit. And she kind of let go of some of these things she was holding back, and her husband was so happy. He was like, I just want to kiss your feet. I have my wife back, she is back to herself, and just really just going for it. And like her business right now is taken to another level because she is, just really bringing everything together. After surgery, we did a lot of the topical. Your topical lotion is amazing. And we know that we need things internally and externally to work. She continued with the recovery, the calming, basically kind of the same thing, but adding more of the topical lotion. Her physical therapist, as well as like my physical therapist and doctor, were amazed at my recovery, how quickly. And I have since worked with clients that had a knee replacement the traditional way, and then a knee replacement the elevated way. And they were like night and day. Wow. Recovery time, pain, just sense of well-being, the whole experience was like so different, for them. People can't even find my scar. That's how well I healed, too. Wow. It was amazing. Yeah. So then the final phase, if you think about this, is something that we forget about. Like, okay, we're focused so much on that first 6 weeks after surgery and get back, and you're starting to slowly get into your physical therapy and the bands in there. What we don't realize is we probably put on some weight, before the surgery, because guess what? We weren't able to run because we had a bad knee. We were in pain, we were just knocked out. And, you're laying around, right? So this next phase was educating her, like getting her on a meal plan, anti-inflammatory foods, getting her into a meditation practice more, which we did all through her recovery, but amped it up and got her going with the THCV. This woman is 64, 65. She's in that age range, has been carrying this weight, this last layer. It's coming off. It's coming off. She said, I will never be without my THCV, and her brain is sharp. Like I said, her business is now, she's ramping things up to the next level. And she is like sold on the whole system. So it was really.
We need to write up these before and after, and then also the elevated way and the non-elevated way with respect to approaching surgery and healing, because all of the orthopedic surgeons in America need to know about this pathway.
Yeah, totally. And this has happened quite a few people. The knee replacement one is a real good one. Before and after. And we talked a little bit about the focus earlier. Like I said, the thing I love about this, you guys did such a beautiful job in bringing together all of these synergistic components that they all help each other, and such high doses. People don't realize, I tried CBD, never worked. I'm like, well, what did you take? I don't know. It's like, I don't know. It's maybe 10 milligrams. I'm like, no, that's not. You need more. And what was the quality? What was the quality? What was the quality?
Quality and combination.
Yeah.
And these are some of the other tinctures that you use. So we have, were you going to do this one?
No, you are.
I'm doing this one. Okay. So these are some of the other tinctures that Denise used. So you use the recovery tincture. So that has CBD, CBG, a trace amount of THC, has boosted with terpenes, but also has the anti-inflammatory terpenes of turmeric, ginger, black seed, and biopepperine, which actually enhances the bioavailability and the absorption of it. The other one that you use that one in the daytime, which was good, CBD, CBG. And another alternative would have been the digestive one. So post-operative, some people could use the digestive one to get their microbiome intact, right? So our microbiome is huge, huge, huge in direct response to decreasing inflammation. So the digestive tincture is very powerful. CBD, CBG, minors, just a trace amount of THC, but also has the botanicals of coriander, fennel, and cumin. And I find this one to be very beneficial, specifically for people that have nausea. It's very hard sometimes to even take an oil when you're nauseated. And this is probably the only one that I can take that works. Yeah. Usually I like inhalation for nausea, but if you don't have that, this is the next best choice. Then the calming tincture in the middle is what you used for evening and for sleep time. So the calming is great for anxiety. The reason it compromises of CBD, CBN, the terpenes, but also has the added botanicals of California poppy, lemon balm, hops, and lavender. And this all helps to modulate the stress response, right? The endocannabinoid system regulates both the fight or flight response and the relaxation response. And guess where we heal best? In the relaxation response, right? And then a couple of other tinctures we have here is this is the focus one that we've just been focusing on for the show. CBD, CBG, THCV, plus the added terpenes. Humulene is the different terpene that's in there that can be a little bit stimulating. So when people are taking focus, we generally don't like them to take it at bedtime because it can be a little bit stimulating.
Or even after dinner.
After dinner.
Before breakfast, before lunch.
Yep. Yep. Or if you need a little pick-me-up in the afternoon.
In the afternoon,
for sure. And then Trilogy is one of our advanced tinctures, which I love. It's one of my favorite ones. It's really, really great for patients that have autoimmune conditions that are starting off. We have a lot of new cancer patients that are new. It's a combination of CBD, CBG, CBN, high dose, 3,000 milligrams in the entire bottle, boosted with beta-caryophyllene, astragalus, oregano oil, cinnamon. And these are all CB2 agonists. So you think about, we want to decrease the inflammatory response systemically throughout the entire body. And it works on multiple systems at the same time. And then these other tinctures here, full spectrum natural, full spectrum citrus, are just whole plant formulations. They are amazing formulations. They actually don't have any added botanicals. And then our zero THC broad spectrum tincture is available for those that don't want THC or might get tested.
Yeah. Anybody in healthcare, law enforcement, etc.
Yep. So our CBD full spectrum starting point for medical patient dosing. And then we got the topicals.
Yeah, and topicals, as Denise alluded to, we want the tinctures on the inside for the systemic activation and the topicals on the outside. I myself have had 3 shoulder surgeries and use topicals every single day, and various ones, right? And these different formulations, from the muscle freeze and the active care cream with a little menthol in them, really cooling and helping to heal and get through some of that pain, take it down in a minute, to the soothing balm and the muscle and joint therapy, where we've got the MSM in the muscle and joint therapy, and the frankincense and myrrh and calendula in the soothing balm, great for neuropathy and some other issues. And then just the roll-ons, with CBD as well as some botanicals to help with the aromatherapy part, right? Just calming and stimulating and invigorating. Sometimes I'll use them on the wrist, put a little bit underneath my nose just to smell it and pick up the scent of that. But topicals are great. And it's a great first introduction for people who don't want to even take anything internally because they're shy about any cannabinoids. A topical it doesn't cross into the bloodstream, and you can't be compromised at all from these. And of course, nothing has THC anyway.
There you go. So Bloom Hemp topicals. It takes a village, Denise.
Yes, it does. It takes a village. That's what we're all, this is the fun of it, right? Is all of us together, working together and sharing what, I like to share from my life experience, right? Like what we come across, what we do, and being able to share and support people, is the best way that we can.
And in the comment section and below, and also in the notes, the show notes below, if you're looking below, there is the information on Denise's 10-minute radiance burn. And she actually has 30-minute weekly live Zoom sessions. I'll let you pitch this. This is great.
Yeah.
But I wanted people to know I put the link to your
great
comments and also in the show notes.
Yeah, and I want to buy some bands. So how much are they, and where do you get them?
Yeah. So you can get them through the link here. And the bands these are like a lifetime purchase. So they will run you with tax and everything. If you do the radiance burn, like around 400. Right. And but whole family can use it. It's your gym in a bag, and you get all of the little extra things that go with it, like the resistant bands that you can use and that sort of thing. So the program is in support of the bands. So you get your bands, and if you can go live weekly, if you can't be there at the little weekly session, you will get the recording, and that comes with like a little meditation and a recipe, and just what you needed, just little tips. This is, as Sherry says, ticks, trips, and nugs, or whatever. Yeah, that's it. For the day, each week you get a little something, something.
And then shop at Bloom, right? Here we go.
So if you've got a phone, just hold it up right now, put your camera on, scan that, go to the website, and use this beautiful code to order your Bloom Hemp, any product, your topicals, your tinctures, your THCV, your focus, your trilogy, and that. Which cream did you use? Active care cream or muscle and joint cream?
I use the muscle and joint. I actually I use both, because we're just right at the area, and then the muscle and joint a little bit more on the the larger area. But I have muscle and joint in every bathroom of my here in the cottage in Chicago. That's going with me everywhere. I love that. Just sometimes we wake up with our hands, they're like, joint. And you know what? You're absolutely right too about anybody will try a lotion.
Mm-hmm.
They all need relief. Somebody's aching. Everybody's aching somewhere. And I find with that lotion, they get results right away. Mm-hmm. And so I love that, because, you don't have to do any talking. It just is like, it's doing it for me. Like, they're like, oh, wow. Okay.
And then, and another plug
And
for
speaking of talking, if you want to call the nurse line, it's free.
it's free. And also we have free care plans. And if you want to have Denise do your care plan, all you have to do is go to bloomhemp.com, go to the service tab, fill out the intake form, put in Denise's name,
Yep.
and she will reply back as a follow-up with a care plan for you and follow up with a call and do a triage.
Yep.
And to help you to focus in to what you might need to live an energized life the elevated way.
Join us in the network.
Yeah. And then we got programs. Denise, you've taken our programs.
Yes, I have. This is fabulous. I can't just thank you guys enough. I was just kind of like, oh, I wanted to learn about this. I had a good experience. I was like, I gotta teach people about this. And your program was so good. And the thing I love about it is, as I am working with my clients, I want them educated as well. And I love that I can send them to your holistic care programs. They can do a little more of a deep dive if they want to, or you offer so many free, your cannabis guide, that you offer. And just being in the network, of other like-minded people that are speaking and supporting you in living a holistic life is really important, because Googling and everything else is just a swirl. And it's nice. I'm just so grateful to what you have there.
And on this note, so on this slide, again, you can scan it with your phone, go right into the shop, check out for 25% off with Nurse 25. And then the CEUs are for nurses. So if you're an RN out there in America, anywhere, we're certified with the Board of Registered Nursing here in California, issuing the CEs. Just, if you want to learn about cancer, if you want to learn about chronic pain or dementia, you can just plug right into that program. Each one of those are $50, and it's quite a steal. And then on this one, if you want the big program, our flagship program, that is the Cannabis Nurse Health Coach program, which is what Denise did. And it's 30 hours of continuing education, 3 big units plus a full toolkit, 10 units, 3 modules, 10 units in each module. And it has a licensing program, which is your business in a box. We're going to give you the quick start guide to starting a business, everything that you're going to need to get comfortable with how to do this, or add cannabis coaching to your practice if you want to do coaching as a nurse. And then we have a monthly mastermind and nurse mentoring for nurses, so that you're constantly fine-tuning your business and clinical development, as well as giving you business opportunities to work with us at Bloom as well. Yep. So join us today.
And if you're not ready to do any of it, what you can do is join the free network, which is off of social media. It's run by our pharmacists and nurses. Denise is in there as well. Mm-hmm. And it's where we host our learning management system, our free cannabis course. We list all of our podcasts, webcasts, webinars. There's a free monthly plant medicine support group. It's a great space to go to learn. We put patients first. Yep. And then finally, we have a new learning library. So holisticcaring.com. If you go to the website, we have a section on conditions, the endocannabinoid system, terpenes, botanicals, and cannabinoids. Very, very, very robust learning library
just
that
got
we
relaunched.
Built. Just got relaunched.
Yeah. Let's do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And in that condition library, if you click on a certain condition, it'll tell you what to do. It'll give you some of the incidence and prevalence and what's going on in the body with that condition. There's research links, and then there's CBD choices that are going to benefit that condition. 1, 2, 3 in a very methodical way. So it's make it easy for you.
And as always, if you've liked our show, subscribe to the Green Nurse Podcast and share with others. We are truly here to educate and empower patients and just to help people live their best lives. That's what we really want to do, because we all deserve it.
You guys are amazing. You really are. You hit everything. You really, really did. And you make our job exciting and hopeful. It's like we don't feel like we have to know everything and carry everything ourselves. We feel so supported, by you and the information that you provide. And also, for our client, our patients, because it gives them real tools and knowledge and respect that they can figure this out too, with all of us. It's not like they can be part of their care.
No.
That's just really
Yeah, and it is about patient-centered care. And, I learned how to provide all of this in an ecosystem, right? When I spent many years in insurance companies and I ran sales for Anthem Blue Cross. And my job was to make sure that the agents had all they needed in education and support and content and my backup whenever they needed it. And that's what we're creating here for nurses, right? So it is a very special place.
And it's a collaborative approach.
Yeah.
We're inclusive. We want to include everyone, right?
Yeah. And we want everybody to shine.
Yes.
Right. Nurse Sherry joined me 3 years ago and we just, went to the moon. Right.
Yeah.
and you guys and the green nurses and all of the nurses to come. We want to just hear from each and every one of you what makes you special and then how we can help you live your best life and help others do the same, as Sherry says all the time.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
And congratulations on all of the success you're having with your patients and your clients.
Thank you.
It's just wonderful to see you just blossoming and helping all these people that didn't know. You're a game changer, right?
We are game changers.
We're trying.
That's it.
Yeah.
A lot more fun that way, right?
So everyone, this has been our monthly clinical conversations with Nurse Denise Costello, Energized Living the Elevated Way, on her Radiance Burn program, utilizing Bloom Hemp CBD. And we are very grateful. And we're going to end our show with my favorite video. It's truly all about living your best life and helping others do the same. And we'll see you next week for a very special podcast with a psychiatrist. We're going to be talking mental health next Wednesday.
It's going to be awesome.
We're here to educate and empower patients to make choices that are best for them. We're also here to decrease stigma around what it means to feel good and be high. Hence the H for hope, I for inspiration, G for growth, and H for healing. The Green Nurse is a holistic cannabis nurse that teaches on the endocannabinoid system and the safe utilization of cannabis and other progressive tools to help people reach a better quality of life.
I was cannabis agnostic for many, many years. And the more research I did, the more I discovered that cannabis is this amazing medicine.
I was told that I had a 4-stage pancreatic cancer. The doctor really told me he couldn't do anything else. He gave me her name and she called me and she came to my house. She started to give me cannabis. My oncologist was puzzled because he couldn't find the cancer anymore.
All of the learning that we get comes from the Green Nurses Group, comes from their support, comes from their guidance. I trust everything that she says.
Simply meet people where they're at. The plant doesn't, stress to grow, so we don't stress to share it. We're healing people.
Cannabis has been used as a medicine for tens upon thousands of years. Here's the big message. Cannabis needs to be federally legal. We need to have laws that are the same across all 50 states that allow access to anyone and everyone who wants to utilize this powerful medicine.